Alright, that's the brief intro to the Aztec Camera song Haywire. There may be a few of you out there in the world that are still Aztec Camera fans, some 35, 40 years later, like me, who've always loved this song off of Highland Hard Rain, and I wanted to learn it finally. So found a few things online, not much, about this song. So I had to do a lot of filling in. But yeah, so that's the intro. We're basically, you know, C chord. There's a lot of C in this song, but he starts it here on the 3rd fret, barring the G, B, and E, and then at the 5th fret, catching the G string, and then he fills in with his pinky on the B string on the back side, and then the high E. Then you come here and fill it in, right, at the 4th fret with the G and B string into a C9, which is just a marvelous chord, okay? But the way he does that on the intro is he goes, and then he jumps into it in this shape. And the reason why he does it in this shape here is because he wants to arpeggio that chord out, and it's harder to do when you're in this position, so you have to jump right into this, which is so you are playing at the 3rd fret the B string, the G string, at the 2nd fret the D string, and at the 1st fret the A string. So you can do that, and the hard part is getting this shape right here without buzzing anything. It's not easy at all. So that's what you're going for in the intro. Alright? And then from there he goes right to an F, but it's an opened up F to start, right? So it's, so you're in the F position, but lift off your middle finger and play the F chord, you know, and then drop in on the G string 2nd fret, right? So he does a lot of this kind of thing throughout the song, where he plays open chord, pardon me, yes, we call them open chords, but he opens them up even further so that he can add on accent notes so that it's more interesting and complicated. And by the way, if you're watching this, I assume you already know how the song goes, so that's why I didn't play it all the way through at the beginning, because you already know how it goes, man. So, and it's a challenging song to play all the way through without making an error. So here we are. Now notice how he comes in on the back side on this F and catches the accent note on the B string 3rd. Then he drops right into a C with a G in the bass. Hear how nice and full that is? So it's a C chord, which is nice, but it's even nicer when you add the 3rd fret low E string with it. And then he opens this chord up and kind of walks it up. So the way he does that is he strums it twice. Then he lifts off his middle finger and puts it on the G string 2nd fret. So, and then open. We'll do that again. Then with his pinky, he catches the B string at the third, and then he drops right back into the G with the C with the G in the bass to do the second. Then he catches it on the high E before he jumps into the C9. And this time he does it in this shape. Without, you know, this real persnickety. This shape. And why this shape? Well, because he does something like this. So he does a nice little slide up. So you're at the C9 here. And the way you make that shape, and the way I make it, is I use my ring finger to compress the G, B, and E at the third, index finger for the D string at the second, and my middle finger for the A string at the third. It's a bit of a gymnastic, right? But if you've got a flexible ring finger knuckle here at the top, metatarsal, I guess is what that is, then you can do the slide up to the fifth, to the fourth, to the third. So the way he does that. So you're here. Now just strum and slide up this finger that's barring the G, B, and E, and accentuate the D, G, and B strings. Really nice. And later he's going to come back and accentuate the highest three strings like this. Or you can accentuate the middle strings. It's just a matter of where you're strumming with your thumb and where you're accentuating with your finger. Okay? And then he jumps right back into the G, or pardon me, the C, or pardon me, the F. To the E9th, okay? So, what have we done so far? It goes like this, slowed down. And clean. All right, so there we are at the kind of the jumping off into the point where he says, losing nothing but pride, right? So we go D minor, and the way you do that, for those of you that don't know, a D minor chord is first fret high E, second fret G, third fret B. And that's kind of how he does that. And then he goes back to the E9. And the E9 is at the first fret G string, second fret A string, into an A7. And the A7 is simply at the second fret D and B string. And then, of course, Roddy Frame adds some accents. So all I did there was I added on my pinky at the third fret B string, and then open high E. Back to the D minor. So what he does there is he does a D minor into an A7. So the accent notes here are played on the high E at the first and the third. So with your index and your pinky, while holding the A7th shape. Then jump right back into the D minor. Okay, so that middle portion, what we did was we started off with the E7. Losing nothing but pride. I've got game enough to go for a ride. Now we go into the next part of the song, and the way he sets that up from the D minor is on the B string. He just goes first fret, second fret, where he sings, and I'm. Then we play a B major 7 chord. Okay, so what he's doing there is playing a B major 7, which is barring the first chord, first fret, pardon me. Then at the second fret, G string, third fret B, third fret D, in this kind of triangle shape here. B major 7 chord, really nice chord. Then he does a lift off on the on the B string. Then he jumps down to the A string with his ring finger and catches the accent note at the high B, the B string. So just practice that a few times. Requires a little dexterity with your fingers. Next part of the I can work out your forearm holding that shape. So we go from here. All right, so what do we do there? So B minor or B major 7. Now, while you've got this shape on the fretboard, just move it up 1 to the second and then to the third, and just play it with the barring the third and the A string at the fifth. The next chord is here. 5th fret, bar, 6th fret G string, 7th fret A string. Then you're here at the 7th, at the 5th still, and then at the 7th on the D and the B. And notice he just kind of slides this from the 7th to the 8th on the pinky. Then you do it again. So there we're at the 3rd, barring, and at the A string at the 5th. And then the next part, whew, I got to shake that out. Holding those shapes for a while is rough. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Then we slide up here to the 6th fret and bar, and then we're going to be in a triangle shape here with our hands at the 7th fret G string, 8th fret D string, 8th fret B string. And here he's in a really nice position to do some accent notes, so he jumps down to the A string, pulls off his pinky, then back to the same shape, but he's accenting the top end of the register here. So notice I'm pulling off and hammering on at the B string at the 8th. Now I'm in an E shape. And this is where he does one of his patented flamenco, you know, back of the fingernails kind of flips with his hands. Kind of just have to practice that. A lot of fun to do once you finally kind of get that roll down. Because what he does now is he jumps straight down to F chord. It goes something like this. So what's he doing there? Let's see. So we got here. So that is a bar at the 6th fret in an E shape with your fingers. Then he drops straight down here to an F. And an F is the same shape, just at the 1st fret. Bar, E shape with your fingers. Into a D7. And that is simply 1st fret B string, 2nd fret G string, 2nd fret high E. Then he quickly jumps right back up here where he was. So that's at the 6th fret there, the 7th fret on the G, 8th fret on the D, 8th fret on the B. Now the first time through, just drop down now with your middle finger to the A string, and it creates one of those augmented chords that he loves so much. Then drop down and flamenco it again. Back here. And then drop down with to the A string. And now we're finally to the chorus where he sings the Haywire part. Now, hard to sort out exactly what he's doing here on the album, but I just kind of came up with my own version. Very simple. And what I do is low E on the 3rd, A string on the 2nd. So all I'm doing there is lifting up on the A string at the right point in my strum. So I try to do a dun da 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 dun da 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 dun dun dun. Dun da 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 dun da 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 dun dun dun. Or you can even speed it up a little bit. Now the next one is just one string up. So now I'm at the 2nd fret D string, 3rd fret A string, and I'm going to come in and accent on the D with my pinky. Back down here. Now, the next time through, I've decided to jump up here to the 4th and the 5th. So I'm at the D string at the 4th, the A string at the 5th. And I'm just dropping in an accent note on the D string at the 5th. Because notice right where you are, right where you need to be to do verse 2. And this time you don't need to worry about the arpeggio stuff because he does 2 slide ups. First a low one and then a high one, using the same shape but accenting different strings. So the first time he accents the lower strings. the G and B strings. Then we're back to that F, to the C with G. Catch that nice and clean. Now we accent the high notes on the slide up. Right? Does that make sense? So now I'm accenting the B and the E as I do that. Then we're back to the F. Now he does this additional work on the G to jump up to a high G. So kind of the way it goes here is, so what I'm doing there is I'm in this G, C with a G in the bass that I've shown you before. Now I'm catching the G string, open. Now with my pinky, the B string at the third, then open, then high E at the third. Then he quickly jumps here to the 3rd fret bar, 5th fret compressing the D, G, and B. And then he comes in with an accent on the high E. So again, that C work goes like this. Then he quickly jumps up here to the 8th fret in the E shape, so barring at the 8th in an E shape. So there he's accenting that high E string. Then he does this shape. So all he's doing there is creating that triangle shape again. So we're at the 8th fret bar. We're at the 9th fret on the G, 10th fret D, 10th fret B. And we're going to do some lift off and hammer-ons with the pinky and the ring finger. So all I'm doing there is alternating my accent note from the high E to the B string. Finishes it off like this. So 8th fret, E shape. Then he drops right back into this part that we've seen before. So the D minor, E9, A7. Do it again. Big build up into the Haywire. way, when I do that, I use my fingernail. I clip my nails fairly often because it helps with guitar. Some people like them long if they pluck with their nails, but I don't. I strum with my nail, and typically my index finger, so I like it nice and round and smooth, and it gives me, you know, something that's not going to hang up on me, like a pickwood. That's the way I end up the song. So there you go, Haywire. I hope that wasn't too disjointed. I know breaking down a long, complicated song can be if you don't really pay close attention and write some of this stuff down on a chord sheet, like I do when I learn songs. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to somebody out there at some point who wants to play this song. Keep playing Aztec Camera. Thanks. Don't fall over now.